Hi, it's Lee, and I'm here with another pickups video. I had a fairly big day of buying today. As a Canadian, I don't know if there are other Canadians listening to this, but you know that eBay kind of sucks right now because of the way the dollar is going, and it's only going to go down. So I decided to buy a lot more locally. I hit 3 stores, and I'm actually going to start with the last store I went to and work my way back to the first store. So at the very last store I went to, it's on the Quebec side. I live in a place called Ottawa. I picked up Mr. Dew's Castle, and Mr. Dew's Castle is one of, it's not nearly at the top end, but it's one of the more rare games on the ColecoVision. It's a hard game to describe. You really have to look at it. It looks kind of fun. They've had it at this store forever, and I've picked it up a bunch of times. I'm not too concerned with this hole here. That's fairly typical. Otherwise, it's actually in very good shape. I look forward to trying this out. I haven't bought anything particularly old in a long time. I think the last one I bought was Congo Bongo on the ColecoVision, so I'm looking forward to actually trying this game. I do have the really retro stuff, and I don't really feature it as much on here, but I'm interested by it at least. I'd like to give it a shot. So I'll move that out of the way. The next thing I bought was at probably the store I go to the most often, where I picked up my recent Phantasy Star games, and I picked up this game. So I was kind of almost ready to walk out of that place without anything. I've been looking for this specific game for a long time, locally. It's Fantasy Zone 2. It's a cute-em-up, I believe is what people like to call it. I already own Fantasy Zone 1 and 3 on the Master System. A long time ago, I made myself a list of all the games on the Master System I wanted, and this was one of the last 2 I needed. Beyond this, there's an extremely expensive Power Strike 2, which is a European-only release, and it's going to probably run me a couple $100 at least. So this was the last kind of realistic game in that list that I needed. It's not in perfect shape, and it doesn't have the manual, but that's okay. My Master System collection is not really complete anyways. I do need the case and the cart. That's my rule. And this was about $10 to $15 underneath my kind of projected amount I'd be willing to pay for it. So that's absolutely fine. It's not in perfect shape, but it's good enough for me. This is just a sticker. I can get rid of that stuff. Perfect. And the first game I picked up, but the last one I'm going to show, was at a flea market where there's an actual kind of regular retail store once a week. And it was the first video game store I used to go to. And this is Breath of Fire 4. I had this priced out at about $60 online, and this is all Canadian dollars, so if you want to convert it to American, it's almost nothing. It's like 50 cents. That's not accurate, don't quote me on that. I think the Canadian dollar is at 70 cents right now, or just under 70 cents. Breath of Fire 4, I don't actually own any of the other Breath of Fires. They did have 3 there as well for under the price that I had it listed at. This, I believe I paid $50 for it, which is fine. $40 or $50. It's in very good condition. The case is a little cracked, but the CD and the actual manual is in perfect condition, so I'm really quite excited about that. So that's the final haul. All 3 things. All fairly big titles. Like Fantasy Zone 2 is not cheap. Even though it's the middle of a series, it tends to be the rarest of the 3. The other 2 games I was able to pick up for $5 and $10 respectively. This one goes for, I think I paid $40 for this. And then Mr. Dew's Castle, again, a fairly rare game. So all 3 fairly rare games. I'm glad to pick them up. 3 different systems, so a little bit of variety. Alright, thanks for watching.